We have updates on the Dallas Stars' first-round pick and where he will play next season. Head coach Pete DeBoer is headed to Team Canada, and some fascinating news revolving around Victory Plus.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. We are a month and a half away from training camp for the Dallas Stars. Before you know it, the NHL season will be underway. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Stars. Shout out to all you everydayers out there rocking along with me every single day this offseason. We have a fun episode for you today with updates, which include Emil Hemming and his plans for next season. A bit of a tease, it will be in North America. Head coach Pete DeBoer and another staff member from the Dallas Stars are headed to Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off, and some wonderful news regarding Victory Plus, the all-new direct-to-consumer streaming service for the Dallas Stars. I'll touch on that a bit later on today's show. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As playoffs wind down, the sports stop sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Can't believe it is already August. Just a few more weeks of this slow news cycle within the NHL, and then everything will begin to ramp up. Some news I did not touch on from last week, and what I think is a great sign for Stars fans, and probably more importantly, a great sign for the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars first-round pick, Emil Hemming, who of course was taken 29th overall in the 2024 NHL Draft, has finalized his plans for next season. Hemming was taken 15th overall by the Barrie Colts in the 2024 CHL Import Draft, and he has committed to playing with the Colts for next season. And this is sort of a big deal. He had the option to go back to Finland and play on TPS, which was the team he played for last year in the professional Finnish league. It was the top-ranked Finnish league, but instead he has chosen to play in the Ontario Hockey League. The import draft is also interesting, and for some of you that don't know, with these junior leagues, which include the OHL, the USHL, plus the North American Hockey League, I was in the NAHL last season, and they have regulations or restrictions. I don't know quite how to word it, but you can only have so many imports on your team to sort of promote talent from within your country, of course. I think in the NAHL, it was somewhere around 4 to 6 imports. Don't quote me on that, but we had a player from Czechia, also had a player from Sweden, and I believe a couple from Canada. So there are only so many import spots available for each team. So Emil Hemming will be in one of those spots for the Barrie Colts, and it will be nice for him to come over to North America and get used to that style of play, because it's all about development at this point for the Stars' first-round pick, and hopefully the Colts and Hemming can do a wonderful job to get him ready to play in the AHL here in a few seasons, and possibly with the Dallas Stars in the next couple of years. I did a full prospect profile on Emil Hemming a couple of weeks ago. I really encourage you to go listen to that episode as well. It talks about his style of play, just the type of player he is, and what he could possibly become for the Dallas Stars in the next couple of years. But I think this is a great sign, because there are many stories of players coming over to North America, struggling with this type of play, and they need a few seasons to figure it out. So by him coming over early and sort of getting that out of the way, plus he will have the opportunity to play a bit more with the Barrie Colts. If you recall, with TPS back in Finland in the top professional league, he was sort of put in a fourth line role. Not sort of, he was in a fourth line checking role. With Barrie, you would assume he would get the opportunity to play in the top six a bit more, garner some more minutes and some increased ice time. This is a quote from head coach and GM Marty Wilmanson from the Barrie Colts. We're extremely happy to have Emil commit to us here in Barrie. He brings a high-end skill set to our lineup that we feel is going to translate well on a smaller ice surface. His goal scoring ability and shot, we feel, are already at a pro level. We're looking forward to helping him continue his development for Jim Nill and the Dallas Stars. Hemming played last season, of course, for TPS, had 11 points in 40 games. By coming over to the OHL, we feel the increased ice time and power play time will greatly help Emil get ready for his dream of being in the NHL. So some great news there regarding the Dallas Stars first round pick. And one of the big reasons why some players struggle is the smaller ice surface. That is obviously a wonderful, wonderful input there from the head coach. And sometimes it is forgotten within myself and just regular hockey fans. The smaller surface can impact a ton. There's not a lot of space out there. Time and space is what it's all about in the NHL especially. And with that smaller ice surface, you have to get used to playing without as much time and space. You have to get a bit more creative. And I think it's a great sign that he is committed to coming over to North America, sort of getting his feet wet, and hopefully he finds himself with the Barrie Colts next season. It'll also be a lot of fun to have him sort of within the continent, so to speak, where the Dallas Stars can keep a close eye on him. Of course, we sort of had this conversation with Liam Bixel from last season where he started in the AHL and then he decided he wanted to go back to Sweden and get some time there to develop more of his skill set, get some more time in Sweden before he comes back over to the AHL. And who knows with Bixel, he could possibly find himself with the Dallas Stars in the middle of next season. Cap-wise, he's probably going to have to start in the AHL, barring any injuries during training camp or the preseason or whatever. But I'm really interested to see how Hemming sort of translate his game into the North American style. And if I had to put out a bit of an estimation out there, I think he could do pretty well for himself just based off some of the tape I've watched from him. He's a bit bigger of a winger. He has some decent size. His speed is not something that jumps off the page to you. So maybe he will struggle to play in a more fast-paced league, but with his increased playing time, plus he'll get some opportunity on the power play, I think we'll do really good for him. He was really, really deadly, especially on Team Finland and their power play. He didn't score much in the latest U18 World Championships, but he kind of found a space over there on that bottom of the left circle. He's a right shot. He kind of sets up in that Ovechkin circle, and he can take some one-timers, and what is his calling card is his shot. He can beat goaltenders. He's got a nice wrist shot, a plus shot, and he can find the back of the net. Hopefully that will translate here to the OHL. So wanted to update you with that as well to keep you in the loop on the Dallas Stars first round pick. But I think a great sign for the Dallas Stars and Emil Hemming as well. Another fun update from last week, head coach Pete DeBoer and another staff member for the Dallas Stars are headed to Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off. I'll tell you more in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is the matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. You don't want to spend a ton of time looking through candidates that don't match your job requirements. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get more jobs, more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? you need Indeed. Thank you for making Locked On Stars your first listen of the day. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NHL podcast. Locked On NHL provides you with a national perspective on all things NHL each and every day with national experts and local insights on every team in the league. It's available on YouTube and is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On NHL is a ton of fun. I've been on there a few times. Gil always invites me on every month or so, and we chat up the Dallas Stars, and we just chat about all things NHL a few times a month. So please be sure to show them some love over there at Locked On NHL. Please be sure to subscribe to Locked On Stars. Never miss an episode. I will be absent a few more days this month. We have transitioned into our summer schedule, so we're doing 3 episodes per week for the next month and some change, not 5 days a week. Just with the lack of news that is coming out in the NHL, it's a bit easier for us to put out episodes 3 days a week instead of 5. But of course, if there's any breaking news, I will be all over it for you. So do not worry about that. Anyways, head coach Pete DeBoer and assistant coach Misha Donskov will be joining the coaching staff for Team Canada on the Four Nations face-off, which of course will get underway in February from the 12th through the 20th. It will be held in Montreal, Quebec, and Boston for the Four Nations face-off next season, which I cannot wait for that. The Stars should have plenty of representatives. I believe Jason Robertson will be on Team USA. Jake Ottinger may have a shot. It'll be tough. Swayman is there. Demko is there. And there's another netminder I'm not thinking about that has a real good shot of making it too. But Jake Ottinger will be right in the mix. Would love to see him in a Team USA sweater. Of course, you have Esa Lindell and Miro Heiskanen for Team Finland. Maybe Jani Hakanpää will be there. I know he's dealing with a bit of a tough injury. Team Canada is pretty tough. Wyatt Johnston may make it. He's kind of a wild card. I think he should make it, man. At 21 years old, he had a breakout season. We'll love to see Wyatt Johnston for Team Canada as well. And maybe he will get to go along with Pete DeBoer and Donskov. They will join Bruce Cassidy, not Butch. I called him Butch about a month ago or a few months ago, which was funny. Anyways, Rick Tocchet, James Emery, the video coach, and then the head coach, Jon Cooper, of course, down in Florida with the Tampa Bay Lightning, has a few cups to his resume. So some exciting stuff for Pete DeBoer, who, of course, has been the head coach of the Dallas Stars the past season. Also with Vegas, New Jersey, San Jose, Florida. He's made 2 Stanley Cup appearances. He's also coached for the OHL Detroit Junior Red Wings. Just going through a bit of his bio that came out with Team Canada. Donskov entering his 2nd season as an assistant coach with the Dallas Stars. He spent more than 3 years as an assistant coach and 4 as a director of hockey operations with the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, he was sort of a package deal with Pete DeBoer when he came over to Dallas. So they will be on the bench for Team Canada, which will be a lot of fun. No offense, Pete, but I hope Team USA wins it all. But I think that Nations face-off is going to be a heck of a tournament. It'll be nice to get best on best once again. I talked about this with Ryan Chambers of Sarcastic Remarks last week. Please be sure to go check out those episodes with Ryan Chambers. We had a ton of fun, and we covered a lot of ground in an hour. Every time I get him on, we go for about an hour, and we just, shoot the hay about anything hockey related. And we brought up the Olympics and brought up Four Nations and how exciting this will certainly be. And hopefully the Dallas Stars have plenty of representatives within each country. By the way, it is just 4, as sort of implied in the Four Nations face-off, but Canada, Finland, Sweden, and USA. And then, of course, when the Olympics roll around in a couple of years in Italy, there should be some more teams involved, which will be a lot of fun. Think about Germany. They have some decent players with Draisaitl. Russia, I know that is a bit wonky with the geopolitical status and all that. Who knows how that's going to work out, but hopefully Russia's in it. I think it's better when Russia's in it because they have some really good hockey players, and it always makes for a really, really good matchup with Team USA and plenty others. You think back to Sochi and those 8 rounds or 14 rounds Team USA went with them in a shootout, and Oshie was going 8 times, and that huge goal he had in Sochi, a lot of fun, particularly. So hopefully that will all be figured out here in the next couple of seasons. But Pete DeBoer said, I'm excited to welcome Bruce, Peter, Misha, Rick, and James to the coaching staff. This is a highly skilled group of coaches that bring impressive accolades and experience at all levels of the game. I know our players will greatly benefit from this world-class coaching staff, and I look forward to working alongside all 5 and representing Canada in an international competition in February. That was from Cooper, not Pete DeBoer. One of the things I find almost a bit funny is this experienced coaching staff will certainly help us out. And I chuckle because it's the best players in the world. How much coaching do they really need? But I'm probably underestimating how much they actually have an impact on the game. So maybe I shouldn't chuckle as much. But I do believe their biggest challenge is probably figuring out a way to put all these wonderful pieces together to come together to win a tournament. And that is probably the biggest challenge with all the wonderful players, and Team USA basketball is experienced this some here in the Summer Olympics. You have so many all-stars. It's just a complete all-star roster. So where does everybody fit in? Where does everybody get their minutes situationally? Where does it make sense? And that is probably the biggest challenge. Plus with the chemistry, can you throw McDavid and McKinnon and Crosby together on a line? Is that really going to work? How do you sort of put everything together and have a seamless transition between all your wonderful players? Hockey may be the easiest sport to do that, though, just because hockey players innately are sort of unselfish. I would say the majority of hockey players, especially within the NHL. Basketball is a bit different. It's a star-driven league. It's based around the star, the mobility of superstars in the game. You sort of just are your own agent, and you can make decisions for yourself, and you can go wherever you want to some degree. Obviously, there are a few exceptions of that rule, but in the NHL, it's a bit different contracts-wise, of course, and the amount of money these players are making. All that to say, I think a lot of these players buy in a bit more than maybe some of the superstars in the NBA. Maybe that's not correct, but that's a bit of my feeling on it. Anyways, all things told, congratulations to Head Coach Pete DeBoer and assistant coach Donskov for making their way to Team Canada. That will be a ton of fun next February, and we'll have plenty of updates on that as we get closer to the Four Nations face-off. What I really want to kind of get into today is Victory Plus. Fantastic news coming from President and CEO Brad Alberts about Victory Plus for the preseason. I'll tell you about it in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop, but as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games and the sports aren't sporting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going anytime I want. All I have to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Get in on the action this summer. Major League Baseball is in full swing. The playoff push will start to begin here in the next couple of weeks. Plus, you have the Summer Olympics. Make some money while you're on the couch enjoying the athletes, enjoying the events this summer. So head over to FanDuel.com. Start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. President and CEO Brad Alberts did a sit-down interview with NBC DFW this past week, and he provided some wonderful insight and a fantastic update about the preseason for Victory Plus, which of course is a free direct-to-consumer streaming service created for fans by APMC. APMC is a parent media corporation, by the way. That's an acronym I'll use probably quite a bit this season because we'll be talking about Victory Plus and this wonderful, wonderful new streaming service that will play Stars games all season long for free. And President and CEO Brad Alberts mentioned they will broadcast preseason games. What a huge win. A huge round of applause to the Dallas Stars and APMC for making this happen. This is one of the very frustrating debacles for Stars fans is not being able to watch preseason games. And I'll be honest, not a big fan of preseason. Don't have a ton of skin in the game, but I do want to watch the first round picks. I do want to watch the second round picks. I want to watch Stankoven, and I want to watch Bork, and I want to watch Simonov, and I want to watch all the Dallas Stars prospects. Kyrou, throw him in there. Gavin White, even, put him into the mix. I want to watch them during the preseason to see where they're at, see where they kind of match up against the NHL level, right? And it was so hard to find preseason games being broadcasted. Usually only got one or two a year. I think this past season it was two, and both of those games were against Colorado. So this is a great, great sign for fans, especially. And there are some things I did want to touch on within this interview. I really encourage you to go take a peek at it. It's 8 minutes. It is worth your time. It is worth 8 minutes to kind of hear about the inception of this idea and how they're trying to execute it, because it's the first of its kind. They are sort of the pioneers in this free direct to consumer streaming service. So there are some risks involved in it, but it could work out magnificently for the Dallas Stars and of course the fans. One of the things he mentioned was the process behind coming to this conclusion of stepping away from Bally and the bankruptcy issues they were having. And he mentioned last season how he was a bit nervous with Bally and what was going on. And that was something he didn't want to repeat heading into next season. And about 2 years ago, this idea sort of popped into their head. APMC has a technology. They've put it through the tests and they partnered together. And here we are. And the Dallas Stars are going to be the first team to bring this to light. He also mentioned, which I found really fascinating, was people from the NHL actually came to Dallas and tested it. They are on board. They are supportive of this endeavor as well. So they tested it, got an idea of what the broadcast can be like, the technology on that, and are all on board, which I think is a great sign that Gary Bettman, of course, the commissioner, is on board. And if this continues, maybe this opens up other avenues for other teams. And one of the, I guess, negatives around Victory Plus, but it's not really negative because the alternatives already have this, and this is blackouts. And many of you have asked this question, Stars fans from Canada, from Finland even, are you going to be able to watch this? No, it's only within the market. Up in Oklahoma, of course, Texas, and maybe Louisiana as well, somewhere in that region. I don't quite know. I think it's just Texas and Oklahoma mainly will be able to watch Victory Plus. So the blackout restrictions do apply, and it's not necessarily to the fault of the Stars. The blackout restrictions are responsible by the leagues, MLB even, NHL, NBA, you name it. They all have sort of restrictions because they were protecting the regional sports markets like Bally. However, if this continues, if the industry continues to head this way with free to direct to consumer streaming, blackout restrictions would have to be revisited. These leagues would probably have to go back and have a conversation about blackouts. And CEO Brad Alberts mentioned that with his interview with Newy Scruggs about how leagues may have to go back and have to revisit sort of those blackout restrictions, which could be huge because maybe there could be no blackout restriction. I have a novel idea. Maybe if you wanted to watch a game, you could just watch it. It should be that easy, which I loved. Another comment he made rather early on was the decision to make it free. And because we're having credit card fatigue, right? The majority of society with subscriptions, not only is it for fans, but they wanted to make it free, which I thought was interesting too, partially due to the fact that even if it wasn't free, people would find a way to watch the game anyways on the streaming service. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't found my way to some streaming services before to watch games. And let's be completely honest, 95% of you that probably listen to this show, if they didn't make it free, would find a way to watch it for free. That's just the nature of the beast. So why not make it free? And we'll see where it goes. So it's a real fascinating thing. And as Stars fans, it's almost awesome to be like, oh yeah, baby, we get free Stars games for, of course, people within the NHL, or excuse me, not the NHL, within Texas, and we get to test it out. Sort of, we're sort of the guinea pigs, I guess, and it's all about viewership for them, right? Stars are preaching viewership. The more viewers, the better. And by making it free, I don't think they should have too much of an issue. It also helps the Dallas Stars are doing this at a time when the Stars are really good. And they're going to be pretty good, I foresee, for the next few years. So by doing this, you get good hockey, number one, which should increase viewership because, let's face it, if you're the San Jose Sharks, I don't know how much viewers you're going to get per game. But if you're a team that's rocking and rolling and competing for a Stanley Cup, that is a great sign. So wanted to share some of those updates as well. Really encourage you to go take a listen to the interview. It is on NBC. You can find it there with Newey Scruggs and President and CEO Brad Albert. So some great stuff there. Alrighty, that wraps up today's episode of Locked On Stars. Shout out to all you everydayers out there. Please subscribe. Please give me a like as well. Want to get this content out there. Continue to spread the word. We're talking Stars hockey every day here on Locked On Stars. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we'll see you on Wednesday. So long, Stars fans.